And initiate O2 flow.
That's in work.
T-minus 2 minutes.
GLS is go for ET, LH2 pressurization.
T-minus 40 seconds, handing off to Atlantis' computers at T-minus 31. T-minus 35, 33.
Clock will hold at T-minus 31 seconds due to a failure.
And we have had a failure. Ground launch sequencer.
We had a problem on the box retract switches. NNTDSP, go ahead. Yes, sir, we need guys to go do the verification for the LCC, please.
All right, CMAC.
Yes, CMAC. The LCC says we need to verify using a camera, and we're positioning camera 62 right now.
Okay, let us know as soon as 62 is swung over and you can verify LCC for GDA retract, please.
This is CMAC. We verify retracted.
All right, and SPE?
And NTD, SPE concurs. They satisfy the requirements of GSC 13 pre-bind contingency. I am go.
Okay, I copy. And launch director.
Yes, sir. I heard all that and concur.
Press on. And GLS, you can resume the clock on your mark.
I copy that. Countdown clock will resume on my mark. 3, 2, 1, mark.
T-minus
Go for auto sequence start.
handoff to Atlantis' computers has occurred. Solid rocket booster nozzle steering check can work.
20.
Firing chain is armed.
15.
Go for main engine start. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. All three engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and liftoff. The final liftoff of Atlantis on the shoulders of the Space Shuttle. America will continue the dream.
Roger roll, Atlantis. Houston now controlling the flight of Atlantis. The Space Shuttle spreads its wings one final time for the start of a sentimental journey into history. 24 seconds into the flight, roll program complete. Atlantis now heads down, wings level on the proper alignment for its 8.5-minute ride to orbit. 4.5 million pounds of hardware and humans taking aim on the International Space Station. 40 seconds into the flight, the three liquid fuel main engines throttling back to 72% of rated performance in the bucket, reducing stress on the shuttle as it goes transonic for the final time. Engines now revving up, standing by for the throttle up call.
Atlantis, go at throttle up, no action, DPDT.
Go with throttle up, no action on DPDT.
That call from Capcom Barry Wilmore, a transducer, instrumentation only, no action required. Atlantis now 15 miles in altitude, already 16 miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center, 1 minute 40 seconds into the flight. Atlantis flexing its muscles one final time. Atlantis traveling almost 2,600 miles an hour, 21 miles in altitude, 24 miles downrange, standing by for solid rocket booster separation. Booster officer confirms staging a good solid rocket booster separation. Guidance now converging. The main engine steering the shuttle on a pinpoint path to its preliminary orbit. 2 minutes, 20 seconds into the flight. Atlantis already traveling 3,200 miles an hour, 35 miles in altitude, 50 miles downrange. Standing by for main engine cutoff. Booster officer confirms main engine cutoff. For the last time, the Space Shuttle's main engines have fallen silent as the shuttle slips into the final chapter of a storied 30-year adventure. Now standing by for external tank separation.
Marshall Space Flight Center, thanks for that great message and awesome ride to orbit. And 134 before that.
Atlantis, Houston, good config for the burn.
Copy, good config.
Flying high over the Atlantic Ocean off the west coast of Africa. We're just seconds away from this course correction burn as we watch over the shoulders of Chris Ferguson and Doug Curley up on the flight deck of Atlantis. You can see very clearly the cannon-like jolt of those big orbital maneuvering system engines. And courtesy of space station cameras, our first view of the shuttle Atlantis.
Good burn, Atlantis, no trim required.
Copy, good burn.
Through the centerline camera and the orbiter docking system, this sequential still video view of the International Space Station.
Atlantis station on the big loop, we have you in sight. Excellent, we'll be there soon. We're waiting.
Atlantis, Houston, you are go for the RPM. Go to proceed inside 600 feet.
Houston station, Atlantis on the big loop, initiating RPM in 3, 2, 1, mark. We got it.
Houston, copy.
With that, Commander Chris Ferguson now will begin the slow 3/4 of a degree per second rotational backflip. This again is about a 9-minute maneuver. You'll hear the start photography call initiated when the orbiter is in the correct orientation of this procedure. The actual R-bar pitch maneuver will last about 9 minutes in duration. About 93 seconds of available photography for Sergei Volkov, Mike Fossum, and Satoshi Furukawa.
Station Atlantis on the big loop. Start photos. Start your photos.
And with that, a period of about 93 seconds of good photography now initiated for Sergei Volkov, Mike Fossum, and Satoshi Furukawa using digital cameras and high-powered lenses out of the Zvezda service module. The rendezvous officer indicates to Flight Director Quatsiela Barujo that Commander Chris Ferguson has flown a textbook R-bar pitch maneuver. And you can see the structure of the International Space Station now coming into view as both spacecraft pass over the limb of the Earth. Atlantis coming up on the so-called V-bar, the velocity vector.
Atlantis, Houston on the big loop. The teams have been pulled in concurrence. You are go for docking.
Atlantis on the big loop, copies. Go for docking. Houston and station Atlantis on the big loop. We don't see a flyout. We're initiating final approach.
Houston copies.
Station copies.